How do you handle people who do not respect you? Most men react immediately. They argue, they defend themselves, they try to explain, they try to win. And in doing so, they surrender the very thing they are trying to protect. Because respect is not defended, it is commanded. The moment you feel compelled to prove your worth to someone who questions it, you have already lowered your position. Disrespect is rarely about you. It is a test, a probe, a psychological measurement. People measure your reaction to determine your strength. They insult to see if you are stable. They mock to see if you are insecure. They challenge to see if you are reactive. And the majority fail this test without realizing it. Anger feels powerful in the moment. Raising your voice feels dominant. Winning an argument feels satisfying. But power is not about momentary victories. Power is about positioning. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this deeply. In royal courts filled with ambition and betrayal, a prince who reacted emotionally became predictable. And predictability is vulnerability. When someone knows how to provoke you, they know how to move you. And if they can move you, they can control you. The masters of power throughout history did not waste energy defending themselves against every insult. They understood that respect is built through perception, not persuasion. You cannot convince someone to respect you. You can only behave in ways that make disrespect costly. This is where transformation begins. You must first understand that disrespect only works when it lands, and it only lands when you absorb it. If you internalize their words, replay them in your mind, and allow them to disturb your composure, they have succeeded. If you remain composed, they are left speaking into silence. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates discomfort. Discomfort creates self-doubt. Most people who disrespect others are seeking dominance or validation. They want to feel superior. They want to provoke a reaction that confirms their influence. When you refuse to provide that reaction, you deny them confirmation. And without confirmation, their position weakens. But this requires discipline. Discipline to resist the urge to correct every false assumption. Discipline to resist the impulse to respond immediately. Discipline to let small provocations pass without engagement, not because you are afraid, not because you are weak, but because you are selective. Selectivity signals value. The man who reacts to everything appears available. The man who reacts rarely appears elevated. This is not arrogance, it is hierarchy awareness. In every room, invisible rankings exist. People test each other constantly. They observe tone, posture, reaction speed, emotional control. The one who cannot be easily disturbed rises naturally in perceived authority. Before you can command respect externally, you must control yourself internally. If a single comment can destabilize you, your foundation is fragile. If you require approval to feel secure, you are dependent, and dependency is visible. True strength is emotional sovereignty, the ability to remain centered when challenged, the ability to observe disrespect without absorbing it, the ability to decide whether engagement benefits your long-term position. Most men fight over pride. Few men think strategically, and strategy always defeats impulse over time. The first shift you must make is understanding that silence is not weakness. It is leverage. When someone disrespects you publicly, the instinct is to respond publicly, to defend your name, to reassert dominance. But immediate reaction places you on the same emotional level as the aggressor. Strategic silence separates you. It communicates that the attack was too small to warrant energy. In Renaissance courts, the ruler who answered every accusation appeared defensive. The ruler who allowed the accusation to dissolve in silence appeared confident. Silence forces observers to interpret the situation themselves, and perception shaped by silence often favors the composed party. When you respond aggressively, you give your enemy material. When you remain silent, you give them nothing to build upon. nothing to escalate, nothing to manipulate. Silence also creates psychological pressure. The disrespectful individual expects resistance. They expect confrontation. They expect heat. When none arrives, confusion begins. They question whether they miscalculated. They wonder if you are planning something larger. They begin to overthink. And overthinking destabilizes confidence. This is not about suppressing emotion, it is about controlling output. You may feel anger internally, that is natural, but power is measured by what you display, not what you feel. The disciplined man does not broadcast every emotion. He processes privately and responds selectively. Another critical shift is removing access. Disrespect often grows where access is unlimited. If someone repeatedly challenges you or undermines you, continuing to give them attention signals tolerance. Tolerance signals permission. Permission encourages repetition. By reducing access, you change the dynamic. You respond less, you engage less, you make yourself less available. Scarcity increases perceived value. When access becomes limited, behavior adjusts. In political courts, advisors who overstepped boundaries were not always confronted. They were distanced. Invitations ceased. Influence was quietly withdrawn, and without access, their power diminished. You must learn to apply this principle socially. Not every critic deserves your presence. Not every challenger deserves your explanation. Not every disrespectful voice deserves entry into your world. Removing access is not dramatic, it is subtle. You answer later. You shorten conversations. You redirect energy elsewhere. Over time, people sense the shift. They feel the withdrawal. And that feeling often corrects behavior faster than confrontation. There is also elevation. The most ruthless way to handle disrespect is to rise beyond it. If someone mocks your position, increase your competence. If someone questions your authority, strengthen your results. If someone underestimates you, outgrow their perception entirely. Success reframes narratives. Growth invalidates criticism. When your position improves visibly, past disrespect begins to look foolish. Enemies expose themselves through impatience. If you allow them to continue speaking while you remain disciplined, they often overplay their hand. They escalate unnecessarily. They reveal insecurity. They reveal envy. They reveal aggression. And the more they reveal, the less credible they appear. You do not need to attack when someone is self-destructing. You only need to step aside. Strategic patience is underrated. Many conflicts resolve themselves if you refuse to feed them. The one who remains calm while others unravel becomes the anchor of the room. Anchors command gravity. Gravity commands respect. There is another layer most men overlook when dealing with disrespect. It is social contrast. Disrespect gains strength when it goes unchallenged within a group setting, not because the insult is powerful, but because observers are watching how you respond. Every interaction is a performance in front of silent judges. The way you handle tension reshapes how others categorize you. If you respond emotionally, you confirm volatility. If you over-explain, you confirm insecurity. But if you remain composed and subtly shift the frame, you reposition the entire room. For example, when someone attempts to belittle you in front of others, a calm pause followed by a short, measured response forces attention back onto them. A simple question, such as asking them to clarify their statement, can dismantle vague criticism. Most disrespect relies on ambiguity. It sounds sharp, but lacks substance. When forced into clarity, it collapses. Another method is redirection. Instead of defending yourself, you redirect the focus toward performance, results, or objective reality. This reframes the exchange from emotional to structural. Emotional arenas favor aggressors. Structural arenas favor competence. The key is subtlety. You do not humiliate publicly unless absolutely necessary. Public humiliation creates enemies. Instead, you allow the aggressor to overextend. When someone speaks too much, they reveal insecurity. When someone presses too hard, they appear desperate. Silence followed by calm precision often makes the aggressor look unstable without you appearing aggressive. This creates social asymmetry. Asymmetry is the hidden architecture of power. When others begin to perceive you as stable under pressure, their internal ranking shifts. Respect is rarely spoken aloud. It is felt through consistent patterns. If every time you are tested you remain grounded, observers begin anticipating composure from you. That anticipation builds reputation. Reputation reduces future challenges. Over time, you no longer need to respond at all. The mere memory of your controlled responses shapes behavior before confrontation even begins. This is how authority forms organically, not through dominance displays, but through repeated proof of emotional control. The man who never loses his center becomes the reference point in chaotic situations, and the reference point in chaos becomes the anchor of hierarchy. Beyond silence and withdrawal lies a more advanced layer of strategy, control of narrative. Disrespect often spreads not through direct confrontation, but through perception. A whisper here, a suggestion there, a subtle comment planted in the right ear. In Renaissance courts, reputation was currency. A single rumor could shift alliances. A single accusation could alter hierarchy. The ruler who ignored slander entirely without reinforcing his own narrative risked losing control of perception. Strategic power requires balance. You do not chase every rumor, but you shape the story indirectly. Instead of arguing publicly, you reinforce your image privately through results, alliances, and visible composure. You let your conduct contradict the insult. When someone calls you incompetent, you execute flawlessly. When someone questions your authority, you make decisive moves. When someone paints you as unstable, you demonstrate restraint. Over time, observers reconcile the contradiction between the accusation and your behavior, and contradiction weakens the credibility of your enemy. The most powerful response to disrespect is not defense, but demonstration. Demonstration builds reputation. Reputation builds immunity. However, there are moments when silence alone is insufficient. There are moments when allowing disrespect to continue unchecked signals tolerance. In such cases, the response must be precise and calculated, not emotional, not loud, surgical. You strike not at ego, but at structure. If someone undermines you publicly, you address them in a controlled manner that exposes their instability without appearing reactive. A calm statement, a measured correction, a question that forces them to clarify their accusation in front of witnesses. Often the disrespectful individual collapses under scrutiny. Because many insults are vague, they rely on emotion rather than substance. When asked to justify themselves calmly, they falter. This exposes them more effectively than anger ever could. Another layer of strategy involves consequences. Respect is commanded when boundaries are enforced. If someone repeatedly disrespects you and faces no consequence, your silence becomes weakness. Power requires that lines exist. The key is proportionality. The response must match the scale of the offense. Too harsh and you appear insecure. Too soft and you appear permissive. Machiavellian discipline demands calibration. You let small slights pass. You address repeated patterns. You escalate only when necessary, and when you escalate, you do so once, decisively, and without emotional display. A single controlled demonstration of strength often prevents future tests. The objective is not revenge, it is deterrence. When people learn that disrespect toward you leads to loss of access, loss of influence, or exposure of their own flaws, behavior adjusts quickly. Most individuals are not brave. They are opportunistic. They test boundaries to see what is tolerated. When they discover that your boundaries are firm but not dramatic, they adapt. The final element within this layer is indifference. True indifference is not performance. It is psychological insulation. You do not need to convince others of your worth because your worth is internally anchored. When your sense of identity does not fluctuate based on external opinion, disrespect loses its leverage. And when disrespect loses leverage, it loses power. The final transformation is not about defeating every person who disrespects you. It is about becoming the kind of man who no longer attracts casual disrespect in the first place. When your presence communicates stability, control, and quiet authority, most people adjust instinctively. Humans read subtle signals constantly: posture, eye contact, pace of speech, reaction time, emotional steadiness. These signals form perception before words are even exchanged. If you carry yourself with controlled energy, measured responses, and selective engagement, the room recalibrates around you. This is how respect is commanded without demand, not through intimidation, not through noise, but through composure reinforced over time. The man who does not rush to speak appears thoughtful. The man who does not rush to defend appears secure. The man who does not react to minor provocation appears elevated. Elevation changes dynamics. When you enter a space, you are observed. If you immediately seek approval, you lower yourself. If you immediately challenge others to prove dominance, you appear insecure. But if you observe first, speak selectively, and maintain emotional control, you create psychological weight. Weight commands space. Space commands respect. Over time, your reputation solidifies. People begin to say you are hard to read, difficult to provoke, not easily shaken. That reputation becomes armor. Disrespect toward you begins to feel risky because there is uncertainty about how you will respond. Uncertainty generates caution. Caution generates respect. You also become more selective with association. You distance yourself from chronic disrespectful personalities entirely. You do not attempt to reform them. You do not attempt to win them over. You simply remove proximity. Proximity is privilege. When people lose proximity to you, they feel the shift. And loss often teaches faster than confrontation. This level of detachment creates a paradox. The less you chase respect, the more it follows. Because respect gravitates toward stability. It gravitates toward confidence that does not beg for recognition. It gravitates toward individuals who are internally anchored. At this stage, handling disrespect becomes effortless. You recognize patterns immediately. You categorize behavior quickly. You decide whether to ignore, withdraw, correct, or escalate with precision. There is no emotional turbulence, only evaluation. This is the difference between reactive men and strategic men. Reactive men defend constantly. Strategic men position themselves so well that defense is rarely required. In the end, the objective is not to silence every critic. It is to become structurally above their influence. When your results speak louder than your reactions, when your composure outweighs their noise, when your boundaries are enforced without drama, you become untouchable. Not because no one dares to test you, but because their tests no longer destabilize you. And when a man cannot be destabilized, he cannot be controlled. That is the ultimate command of respect, not demanded, not negotiated, commanded through presence, discipline, and strategic power.